As we move on in our series of getting started this autumn, let's think about one of the central tensions, which is between academic teaching time and academic research time. What you don't really realize until you become an academic is that universities are really several very different businesses under one roof. There's a teaching business, there'll be a research business, there might be various aspects of enterprise where the university makes money or seeks to make money for society or gain sponsorship. There will be a government angle or government policy angle where the government will be trying to use the university to change society in some way. And you may be an export business either by working overseas or by bringing people from overseas into this country and adding some value in some way to their lives or to what they do. And all of those are driven by different parts of government, and sometimes you'll find that one piece of government will be helping you, and at the same time another part of government will be penalizing you for the same thing. Each business beats its own drum. That's the big success in academic, is to beat a loud drum. And life turns into a battle of the bands. My experience of the most successful academics was that they did one of two things. They either learned to scramble and sprint, or they specialized in teaching or in research. So the scramblers and sprinters would focus phenomenally for a short period of time on whatever was top of their list, a very deadline-driven existence, often working late into the night, maybe through the night, doing a proposal, meeting the deadline to get a teaching piece or an exam done. All of that very, very focused. And as soon as it was done, they would move on to the next thing, and they had amazing ability to just wipe the slate clean and then focus on the next thing. Second group of people would either try and minimize their teaching or minimize their research. Minimizing teaching can be done either by doing more research and buying yourself out in some way. Minimizing it can also be done by moving into management, where there's often a ring-fenced budget for your time if you're involved in management in some way. Minimizing research can happen by accident. You do less and less until there isn't any, or it can be done by moving to a teaching-only contract. But those are basically the two options that the successful people I observed took. Of course, some tensions are inevitable. Without a time turner, you only have 168 hours a week, and what you spend on teaching can't be spent on research. But there are a number of system-specific challenges. For instance, teaching and research crossovers are not well exploited. Even though a lot of the thinking and underpinning ideologies are very similar, there's very little crosstalk between the two worlds. Secondly, nobody wants to listen to anybody else's drum. You succeed by beating your own drum louder or by responding to the loudest drums, not by seeking to synchronize stuff. Thirdly, quality is bizarre in the academic world in that it's almost synonymous with taking a long time and with failure. If you went to a restaurant that insisted that you finalize your menu order in September for a meal you were going to have in November, you'd think it a fairly strange place. If you went to a home delivery service that would brag about the number of failures to deliver or the number of times that drivers returned with your goods, you would think it a fairly strange sort of outfit. And yet the academic world brags about the number of rejected proposals. Conferences will brag about their quality on the basis of the very small number of papers that they finally decide to publish. Procedures are very paper sensitive rather than outcome aware. So if you're a funder, there's a couple of questions there. Can you coordinate better with the academic timetable in terms of when you issue your calls and stuff like that? And can you redesign your processes to make them more reproducible, that people's expectations around when stuff will happen can be fulfilled more often? If you're in senior management, are you able to find out how workloads vary across the year? Do you really understand what your staff workloads are? Can you help to level the load? Do staff want level loads, or do they like the idea that they work really hard for a term maybe, and then have more time to devote to other things in another term? Is there a way to standardize your teaching paperwork, your research paperwork, your protocols, so that everything always happens easily, reproducibly, and without using huge amounts of staff time? Is there a better balance between freedom and standards? Finally, if you're a teaching academic, what can you do? And that's what I want to look at next time. So I'm around. Here are some of my coordinates. please subscribe to this YouTube channel and get in touch if I can help.